With McDelivery, Macca's comes to you contact-free. This weekend, get free delivery on orders $25 or more via the Uber Eats app with promo code MACCASLOVE.
Well, Rusty, they always just seem to do it, don't they? They go down in the series and they just get some miraculous buff where, like, with 0-2, it is time for us to turn things around. We will not give up without a damn good fight.
Surely it's scripted at this point. Sure,
it's pre-recorded. That's what you have to say, right?
There is. So I was thinking about this before, and of course we're getting through Champion Select, so I'll make this as quick as I can, but there's a certain point where I feel like, you know, the momentum and the pace that Direwolves hit when 0-2 down is just so different. And it really catches teams by surprise. And then in Game 5, teams tend to slow down, Direwolves included. But because they've already got the back-to-back wins, they built up momentum, but it keeps their opponents not used to the pace, perhaps. But I think Legacy are the type of team that are designed to deal with it incredibly well. You know, they slow the game down. They play on their terms. And Direwolves threw chaos into the mix in that last game. And that's exactly what they need to do.
Just look at this right off the bat. I mean, we're talking about adaptations in the drafting phase. You take it with the Corki because that was so frustrating to deal with. But what have you given up? The Orianna as a result. Yes, you've gone for the Bard here, and we've seen that going to be, I think, just a go-to. I wonder if we will actually ever see it banned, but between Isles and Cupcake, always wanting to get priority on it. But as a result, you found yourself giving a situation where they've had now Java, Nautilus, and an Orianna, and you start to wince just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they've picked themselves the Wombo. It's pretty true to Direwolves' style. Nothing should really be surprising so far with the draft from them. Looking at the other side, though, once again, it's actually a first rotation of the Bard, so the priority's actually gone up on it, while we aren't seeing a ban because there's no space in the ban list. But Ezreal is now going to be the pick with it. So they've said, we cannot continue to play these low mobility AD carries with the Bard, so we're going to pick the Ezreal. We're going to go for mobility and safety in that bottom lane. It's now weak side, and we go back to what works for us. And what worked? Cho'Gath.
I was like a little bit caught off guard there. I always get baited by people cycling through these champions, which they're not going to lock in. But I saw the Cog one, I was just like, what? Complete disbelief. But it will be the Cho'Gath. Going to be, once again, another tanky boy for them to flex around with, not get so bullied out here by the likes of the Orianna. But you can see now a heavy, heavy priority goes towards banning out AD carries. And I wonder, right, do we just add to the mix?
Hang on. That's bot lane.
There was a world
It
in
has
which
to, has to be bot lane. So that's a Nautilus Yasuo bot lane?
That was going to be my question. Was it going to be Varus, or was it going to be something to Wombo with the knock-up?
That's unexpected. I mean, most teams that Shocker Chippies have played on, the Yasuo always goes to the AD carry. He's also currently having Exhaust, which is why I'm saying all of this. And they've gone for the Poppy with it. So no Malphite this time around. The Poppy wasn't the most successful the last time that we saw it. And there's not a lot of things that the W is useful for here. In fact, it's pretty hard to be Poppy in this game without Flash to be able to make plays effectively. But there is a Trundle. And so you can kind of counter yourself if you're Babip. And there is a Jarvan on the other side. So with your own team, like if you're able to combo, it could be very good. But you're so kiteable against the enemy team. They can kite you so well.
And you'd imagine it's going to be a blue Ezreal as well, right? You've got the mobility, obviously, to get yourself out of that Wombo combo. Then you've got the Flash. And if you can slow people down as well, well, I wonder in which world the Yasuo truly finds the value.
Well, the Yasuo is always going to have value if an Orianna Shockwave hits. You know, the Nautilus knockup, it's funny because it's always guaranteed, is one of the most annoying things to deal with, and Yasuo could almost choose his target along the way, but the last person chosen will always get knocked up. The build that the Cho'Gath was going for, being the Glacial Cho'Gath, was very squishy, so early on can be taken down very easily, but the risk starts to mount as the game starts to progress as well, and being that Yasuo, I mean, that's a spanner thrown into the works. That's chaos, and they didn't have the Malphite with it this time around. They didn't pick the Malphite. They just lost the combo.
And they're just going to rock with it regardless. This is going to be an exciting one. The buff, the playoffs buff, the reverse sweep buff is what Direwolves are playing around with as we enter into game number 4 of the Grand Finals here for the OPL Split 1 2020 season. We have a Yasuo bot lane.
We most certainly do. Of course, it's against the Ezreal Bard. If we want to speak towards what that Yasuo can do, you have a very important win wall against that bottom lane 2v2. Now, we already spoke about what can work with an Orianna Shockwave coupling the Yasuo in team fights, and it is a Jarvan Orianna combo. So we still see the wombo. Yeah, we still see what is available when it comes to the 5v5 team fighting. It wouldn't be a Direwolves comp without it, right? But looking at the other side, and I mentioned this briefly, how do they hit that? First of all, you've got a Bard to deny some of it, Vladimir with the pull, Trundle who can pillar people away from the potential follow-up on combos. Cho'Gath's silence has value potentially, and it's an Ezreal with dashes. So it's to me this game is objective based. And it's about the river objectives to me more than anything else.
And it has appeared to be that objectives are very much of high value, either for sacrificing or even just trading, as to what is a priority in this one. Very curious to see how that changes up in this situation here. What should we be really looking forward to seeing coming out this Yasuo? I mean, early game aggression, we're expecting him just to try and get and raise his face?
Well, he's gone for fleet footwork, so probably not. There's a couple of ways that you could build the Yasuo. Hail of Blades is one of the options that we've seen. Perks was actually one of the people who liked to take this when he was an AD carry player. It means that at level 2 you can just like instantly all in, and you've got a Nautilus, so like that's possible. But you've gone for fleet footwork, and so you're not a champion until probably level 2, where you have the dash, and then you're really not a champion until level 3, where you hit your peak power. So you don't see anything right now. The way that Legacy can choose to play this out is just push aggressively, deal damage and poke, and then they honestly could threaten a dive. If they choose not to do that, then push the wave in, make it bounce towards you, and then threaten the jungler coming on that timing instead. So it started off almost as you would expect here from Legacy's side of the equation. You're looking at Babbitt really to see what it means.
Well, you speak about Raze in the bottom lane just before, and you saw actually how much damage he did to them to say, hey, I don't want to give you that opportunity to jump on me and to go for that wombo combo with the tornadoes that will come from afar. Yeah, jungle difference is going to be very, very apparent in this one, I am sure, to get these laners online. It will, once again, be the Glacial Augment coming out the Cho'Gath, so wanted to be the utility. Want to get as many feast stacks as possible and make it a little bit easier for those objectives. You talk about objective baiting with what these comps present, but the objective security that a feast provides.
Everything going pretty much standard, you're right, referencing Glacial Augment in mid lane. I mean, that's one of the things that helped Legacy be their strongest selves in that first game of the series. That mid-game pick composition was empowered entirely by that Cho'Gath working with a Trundle. So they still have that component. They still have the Bard ultimate to follow that one up as well. So very well equipped here overall. Is the side of Legacy similar or akin to what was working for them in their past games? The difference is very clearly on the other side, though. You go for a pick on them, you better make that effective. You better get that kill quick. If you don't, they'll come for you.
And they did come for them in the bottom side there. You saw them go for the Scuttle. And then Al's did a fantastic job of freezing the wave to make it a bit easier here for Raze to get some CS and not fall behind in this lane, not let things get out of control. We see Tapoon once again on this Vladimir, and quite honestly, had a pretty good showing. Was very impactful, got some great Hemoplagues down, and was able to pad up the damage, just unable to find that one decisive member, that one-shot assassin to really secure the deal, because there's so many times when members are on fractions of a health bar.
Ooh. The hook actually missing there from Cupcake, but because it connects to the wall, he just auto-attacks anyway. It's nice to be Nautilus sometimes. Tally, he'll hit the sad B, because even he knows he did well to juke the hook, but it doesn't make a difference because he's Nautilus. So he still gets chunked out.
Getting zoned away from this minion wave at the moment.
Yeah, he's probably going to reset here, potentially. If he doesn't know where the Trundle is, you can see he's going to go prioritize placing a ward. Knows that he won't be at risk of being dove as long as the Trundle isn't here. Poppy, obviously he's going to struggle early, will fall behind in farm early, and wants to get towards probably the Spectre's Cowl as fast as possible to survive in that lane as Miles gets out.
Pixel Perfect, juking out the hook. Once again, there's a lot of attention shown towards this side of the map.
CS deficits pretty much everywhere for Direwolves, except for mid lane. Shock, that last Bastion, he was huge last game. He keeps them in the series, he keeps them in the finals with a massive Corki performance. Now he's got the Orianna. It's his most played champion of the playoffs, Skibby. It's his 6th time on the pick this time. See what he's able to get done if he can combo with the rest of his team, because he has done very successfully in the past.
That he has. But LB Legacy picking up the very first dragon of the game. That was a little bit too late to the party, as they now look to try and control the vision in this side of the river. They've got control wards already down in the pit, in the Tribe Rush. Very defensively acquainted. But now they are turning their attention towards mid lane. Flash is fantastic. Shockwave will not hit. And Shock will not be able to get himself a kill.
Very easy flash to force, though. So they'll take that one. You know, Orianna's going to be able to go back to base, get that lost chapter, presumably. Min needs to be careful for a hot second here, though. He's not going to be able to get that Scuttle Crab as Tally is stuck around.
Oh, the knockup does actually connect. The silence as well. He flashes at the last stretch. Game over. That is fit for the purpose there. Burnt a lot. Falls down for first blood.
Yeah, they actually tried to give the kill to Tally, and the feast animation got cancelled by the flash over the wall. So, in a funny way, they are lucky to secure that kill without having to use summoner spells themselves to chase him. But they'll get that first blood. Legacy, well and truly starting this game off the right way.
That's going to help out Tally immensely as a result now by being able to push through mid. But hang on a minute. He has just face-checked a Nautilus. The root connects, and it's going to be a bit of a slow burner, but the damage will be there, especially when Mir rocks up to this one with a vengeance. Said, you killed me before. Shock's wave did not connect the first time, but Shock will get a kill this time.
And that's the way it plays. You force a flash on a mid laner, you come back. You know that you're going to come back. They know that you're going to come back, but how do you actually stop a Nautilus? Having this free reign to leave the lane the way that he currently is. Cupcake with brilliant movements. Mir, of course, being there to force the flash in the first place. It's a team affair, and it's around Shock having a very good series.
It's a really good trade. Tapoon getting slammed into the wall there, despite being so far ahead in the CS. Chippies finds his moment to deliver, get himself a few procs of the old grasp. He'll take those when he can. You can see he's bleeding a little bit as a result in this lane down by roughly 600 gold. You start to get worried when Shock gets fed on a champion like this.
Oh, yeah.
You highlighted it before, but those last 2 games in this series against Chiefs, the guy was unstoppable.
Yeah, when he finds his mark, it seems like that momentum is a slow burner and he stays consistently good. Blue buff going to be stolen away there by Babip, so he gets a nice little objective for himself. It's also level 6 to 5 is the jungle diff. And you were mentioning top lane before, Skimmy. Well, it is the Spectre Cow timing. You know, you compare these 2 champions in top lane. Poppy becomes pretty hard to deal with once she has that first real magic resistance item.
Yeah, got to keep himself topped up, healthy in this lane. The constant nuisance that this Vladimir presents, very frustrating to deal with. But in touching back on that point about the junglers, the ultimate advantage could be a very deciding factor here. He's been able to find not only a successful kill, but able to get so many more camp clears as a result. Now out comes the Tempered Fate. Could this be what Tally needs to try and turn this one around? He has not got the feast. That will force out a flash. Babbitt will try to get into this one, but Shockwave arrives! Cupcake was there to do the damage, to be the janitor, the protector. Act as a cleanup crew. The portal goes out. Babbitt wants to run. Left, right, center. Vital can't find it. Windwall goes up. It looks good. It's burning a hole in this river. But now they are juking and driving, and Vital runs for a 1v4. And he finally gets it. How do you get this, man? He is styling on them right now. He's going to get himself a double kill. And he picks it up on Raze, given a blue buff. Thank you very much for that one. And now he is toying with his food.
He's still alive and the fight's still going, Skimmy. The Vladimir in a lot of trouble.
He sees 2 members so damn low. Vital as well. If he comes across this wall, very close margins.
Oh my god.
Cupcake. No, he went for the ignite. He needs to heal.
Shock's out of mana, otherwise he might have been able to trade Topu's health for it as well. Ezreal ultimate's coming in. Will it find Shock? It will. There's a shutdown on that Orianna.
What a clown fierce.
It's now 4-4. That was wild.
Well, that's a skirmish, and that is multiple members rocking up to showcase what they can do at 10 minutes. I guess that's what you'd call that one. A lot of that all started from the fact that Tally had no feast to execute, but nonetheless, they will turn their attention now towards the Rift Heralds, and Legacy will be the ones commanding these objectives.
And the fight started off so fine. You know, the Bard ultimate connecting to hit that one off. Bard ultimate currently already back up and available. That's how long the fight was going for. Mir is going to look towards this objective. He's not going to be contested, actually. So he is just going to pick up the second Drake of the game, the Infernal at that. And we get to see what the Soul will be with the opportunity of 3 per team. And it's an Ocean. Oh, my God.
Yes. The Ocean Dream is alive. We're going to have so much sustain to flirt around with. I cannot wait to see how disgusting this can actually become.
I still can't believe that fight. That was just so wild. But
I just love how Cupcake finds the hook and then just stopwatches on 10 health and it's just like, please Shock. Anything.
Yeah, that was the least necessary part of the whole thing. I mean, we're not going to get a replay for it, but there was like a lot of little details in that one. Like Vital actually getting the double kill and surviving for as long as he did.
Yeah.
It was actually unnecessary. Like Babip just tanks a tornado for no apparent reason and gives over the kills and makes that happen. May not have been looking at where the Yasuo was, but you can never take your eyes off a Yasuo. So he pays the price.
You can never take your eyes off the Vladimir as well. I mean, he's made Poppy's life in these first few minutes very, very hard. And coming back to lane as a 3-0 Vladimir is never a good sight.
Yeah, you don't want to be chippies anymore. That is, 3 too many kills that suddenly went over through that trade. You'll be happy for the rest of your team, and I'm sure that at the end of the day, I would rather the kills went onto my carries. A Shock, he is in trouble.
He lands those, and you're gone. Rage tried to snipe it with the True Shot Barrage. I'm sure Furious didn't get even an assist for that one, but regardless, Isles is performing really, really well.
Yeah, playing this Bard exactly how you'd expect, right? You go mid lane with it, you know there's no flash, and the punishing that we're seeing on both mid laners when they don't have those summoners is incredibly high. Mir now looking to defend this turret. If he gets knocked up, they could actually go for him. They'll consider it, but Cupcake already just around the corner being seen on wards. Means that they won't do anything other than summon the Herald and try and take the charge here. The
gold spread amongst the boys. Go nicely in towards their inventory. But what's been interesting to take away from that one is the jungle difference as a result. Mir now really far ahead as a result of all things said and done. He was down a fair bit beforehand, but
yeah,
that skirmish really changed the tune.
He was down in experience, now he's a level ahead. It's definitely going to be a major factor here. I do think that we have to reiterate just how much of a raid boss Topun is about to become. Not only does he have the Proto Belt completed with those 3 kills, he is starting to be an absolute unit. And this fridge running you down is going to just smack carries up. And they're all melee. Dire Wolves are entirely melee. And the Vladimir is the one who picks up the kills. If you want to talk about teamfight execution, it's very easy to be a Vladimir and hit your ultimate then.
One of those situations where you see everything line up. The celestial beings aid you in your attempts to get this job done. He played well in game number 3 and he wants to repeat it in game number 4. And with a 3-0 scoreline like that, why would you ever think otherwise at this stage of the game? Tally's going to, no doubt, continue fishing for knockups. And whenever Isles is around in the area, looking for the follow-up, the kills. Make sure that this Orianna hits for very little when that shockwave comes and connects.
Speaking of, though, Shock does have his flash, so he can actually survive any coming ganks towards the middle lane. You can see that the way that the lanes have actually continued to play out, though, there has been no swaps. Nothing drastic just yet. Pretty standard, actually, lane assignments so far. The next step really is going to be towards the Drake in 1 minute. First Ocean of many that we will see in this game. Direwolves are hunting in a bush, looking for a raise if they can find one. Those minions stopped in an awkward spot.
Well, he's in a lot of trouble right there. They get the knock-up, they get the combo. Tempered Fate! That could be huge right now. Buys time for the teleport to come in. This could be a massive knock-up as a result. So much damage comes across from Tally. Now they turn things around. Topu rocks up to the fight and flexes his strength. That's a double kill again. And he is the king of the top lane right now.
That's a 5-0 Vladimir. Difference maker in this series is very clearly starting to rear its head. It's going to be Topu on this Vlad. Now he breaks the bot lane outer turret. Chippies has teleport through all of that, so we'll watch this once again, as it may actually be on cooldown for a short amount of time. It was only available after the fight, I believe. Raze is going to flash and cover as much distance as he can. Isles also takes a journey into melee range and throws the Tempered Fate. Now he survives, but Raze unfortunately does not. Tally will get into the fight as well and make sure Cupcake is gone, while Topoon with his teleport as well. Legacy collapsing as 5 strong with no hesitation. They'll teleport into the bottom lane. A big, big play for the swing of this game.
Absolutely massive play. And the fact that Raze was able to get out as far as possible, the Tempered Fate coming and clutch to buy time, and then turn it around just like that. You start to get worried when objectives like this come online. Vladimir's still hanging around here. Chippies is only now going to come in for the teleport. Cataclysm is not online, but Shockwave is there.
Yasuo also has the last breath, so if they do hit that wombo, it still exists. Chippy's also having the ultimate of his own, could kick away some members.
He flashes in, spots free. Hemoplague onto 2 right now. He's going to do so much damage to execute. Mir going to fall on down. No smite and no contest for this one. Isles flashes away. Last breath onto 1 right now. Tapoon is going to get shot down, and by Chippy's none other. It's a 1-for-1 so far.
Oh.
He stuns and charges into the wall. Meanwhile, the dragon is doing so much damage. It's actually slowing down Vita, who once again is caught separated from the team. Babip on the hunt, subjugating. Picks that one up. Spots out Mir and says, why are you here? You've got no health. This dragon, it is ours.
And for just a moment, it looked like maybe Direwolves had been able to win around the execute at the Ocean Drake. But unfortunately not going to be the case. Topoon does drop, so the 5-kill shutdown does go over to the Direwolves, but they lose the fight just after. You can see Topoon on the flank right now. He's going to be able to find the mark decently well, but the ultimate was actually super late from him, so he lost a lot of damage on that, and Shock lives. That could have been potentially the difference. Mir survives for a significant amount of time, and Vital able to hit that knock-up, and this is okay. And then Chippies flashes forwards onto Raze and doesn't actually hit the stun into the wall. He dies anyway, even if that stun connected. And then the Ocean Drake, of course, going to slow down Vital and buy the time that the rest of Legacy needed.
Well, that gold is going to be used to get himself an adaptive helm. Couple that with the Merc Treads. Going to have a fair bit of magic resist right now to make sure it does not fall victim to jumping in and just getting devoured by the likes of a Cho'Gath or even a Vladimir.
This is actually
go on cooldown. Easy it is to land those stuns and maybe not fall victim to what you just saw there.
This is a big moment though. Take a second now to look at the items and the completions here from Legacy's point of view. That is a death cap for Topoon. He's huge. He's unstoppably large. So he's now going to 1v9 team fights if he is left unattended. You've also got the 2 items here from Tally on the Cho'Gath. We mentioned this a few times now, but it's an incredibly cheap item build. So now that he's got those done as well, the pick potential from Legacy increases a lot. It is the Iceborne Gauntlet for Ezreal. When we're speaking about pick, very hard to catch him and very easy for him to chase people down, and the Trundle Pillar is always going to be there.
Yeah.
Knight's Vow really the last thing that they're looking at. Otherwise, they are hot to trot.
Well, Ezreal going to give him so much protection with the armor, the slow. But also just the fact that now Tally has 9 stacks on that Dark Seal. Very cost efficient. Just buff up his damage even more as he just continues to fish for stuns and pick opportunities.
Gold lead is only 2,000. The majority of that, of course, going into individual parties on the Legacy side. Gold still going into the carries of Direwolves. Just suffering elsewhere, above all else. They still need the items to be completed themselves. Once Dials have those, they may consider contesting, but right now, Shock finds himself in trouble once again.
He's got no flash. He has heal if he needs it for the movement speed. He's not going to use it just yet. He's going to get the speed up from his own kit right now. Vital goes golden. Redemption comes online, but what do you do against a Rab-capped Vladimir? He literally 1v3s. You can't help but laugh at this stage. That one chaotic fight, when it went on for such a long time, has really blown this game out of control.
Yeah, majority of the gold going to one member proves to be far too significant. Topoon's doing some ridiculous DPS right now. They'll get the Baron buff here. You're looking at what the contest is. Chippies has moved into the area, but it's going down so quickly. We'll see if they can do anything here, Dials. It's unlikely.
Swinging off the hammer right now, but that gets negated completely. The Baron is going to fall on down. What is it? He steals it!
Oh my god.
He steals the Baron!
Oh my god.
How on earth has the man just done this?
And they get a shutdown onto the Vladimir. You're joking. Of all things to happen. No way that that's what it is. Chippies may have just single-handedly kept them in a game that was over.
I don't know, Rusty. I've broken my voice.
He
I've
just
broken the rules.
domes the top of the Baron. Let's see how he gets this. Cho'Gath has Feast. 25 HP.
Wow.
And then Shock uses the Shockwave and kills the Vladimir while he's charging E. That's unbelievable. Miracles can happen. And it happens in the finals of the OPL.
It could not be closer. When it looked like a surefire write-off, Topoon jumps in, cleans up house, they go to Baron. It's the obvious shot call. They have this gold lead. 25 health. And the Poppy pick finds the justification.
Still hunting in mid lane though. The hook is on from Nautilus. Topoon.
Yeah, Topoon once again, as soon as that flash is available, he uses it. Stone plate. Won't do much. He falls victim in the end. Tempered Fate to follow things up. They are picking him one by one. A three-man Cataclysm locks him in place, but a Cho'Gath just eats you alive. He takes you down. And they say, nice Baron buff. That should have been ours. We made a mistake. But we will take yours.
Dials will be thankful they stole the Baron buff at all after that fight, because that'd be the bare minimum inhibitor. It was a sombrero from Shock trying to follow the combo of Mir and Chippies. Not going to be able to find it. They outranged him with the distance they covered. Stun on the Chippies here.
Exhaust goes out, but they have their eyes set elsewhere right now, distracting Direwolves in the mid lane. Babbitt turning his attention to putting Legacy on Soul Point. With Ocean and Vladimir in this state of the game, how do you kill him?
And Topoon's flank here is going to be very significant. It took a lot of effort to try and even get the Banshees off a Shock, but they do. And then, of course, forces the flash in response away from this Orianna. Cupcake was always going to die, and this is the combo. Keep your eyes on Shock, because that ball, unfortunately...
Oh, no!
Yeah, that would have hit a lot of people and been a lot of damage, maybe saving some structures from falling. But it's just Vital that drops, and Shock has to limp away to base.
That has to be the absolute worst feeling. That could have been a difference maker. But regardless, Legacy are still the ones in the lead. Do you even call it a lead? Yes, you can talk about how far does Vladimir is ahead. That's what I've been harping on for the last 15 minutes. But these fights are so damn close.
Oh, it's a lead now, though. So before, there was only one person with, the abundance of the gold being Topoon. But now after that fight, there's a 600 gold shutdown on your Cho'Gath. He's now 6-2. He picked up, I think, 3. Like, gold's going everywhere now. And that's when it gets really dangerous. Direwolves, we've spoken about this already at length, but their team fighting comp, the wombos that they have, they need to hit that. And the further ahead that Legacy get, the harder that will be to do.
How many stacks is Cho'Gath on right now? You'd imagine he's on at least 10 or so. He's a big boy right now. Anybody shows face, he eats you alive. He is taking you down, and they are now turning their attention towards the mid lane once again. Keeping Direwolves locked in place, controlling their movements, getting as much vision down as possible to find those picks. Much more stable game coming out of them here in Game 4.
Absolutely, that's one of the strengths of the roster, being able to stabilize, and that's what we're seeing. And now they're pushing into the enemy red side jungle. Threatening this quadrant of the map, usually an indicator that there'd be a Drake up soon, but there's nothing actually on the map present regarding objectives besides turrets. So they're protecting Topoon to try and get that bot lane in a turret. It seems to be the primary objective. They also have wave control top lane. So they're pretty poised here. Oh, that's an engage.
Mish is going to jump on in right there. He wants to force something right now. Babbitt on the flank looking for it. Raze incredibly protected, but gets one man last bread. Vital doing whatever he can, but he just gets deleted. The protection from the dinosaur. It is there. They're not extinct just yet. Tempered Fate is there, and now this is a situation where Vladimir loves to see. He goes through, zoning everybody away. Now 2 members survive, jungle and top. The patience, the perseverance. The persistence pays off now as they finally push through mid.
Yeah,
and
they're
look
staying
to
mid.
get an inhibitor.
So they had a wave in bottom lane, but they're just going to send Raze down there to push by himself. This will be at the bare minimum an inhibitor. 10 seconds on the spawn timers of the bottom laners here of Direwolves. So the inhibitor is what they'll go for. I don't know how much they'll choose to challenge for after this one, as Baron is up in 40 seconds, but they could try and stick around, maybe in the bottom lane. But I expect a reset after they get all the gold into their pockets after that team fight.
Knight's Vow is there. The protection elements are online. Cho'Gath with Azonias as well. Blade of Rune King now completed. Shurelia's online. They have so much utility, so much damage, so much control that this objective, this Baron, can Chippies, can the Direwolves pull a rabbit out of a hat one more time?
But that's the thing, it requires another piece of magic coming out of the Direwolves. That's how far ahead Legacy are. It's 20-7 in kills, and it's only 5,000 in gold, but that's still significant enough to be, you know, game-breaking. That Bard ultimate actually goes out. They're on the Cupcake.
Cupcake tried to get some vision down for his team, but he's just getting CC'd. He's got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. It's now a 4v5, a minute on soul points. They have the numbers advantage.
That's Baron, for sure.
That is for sure, Baron.
I mean, right now, if they get this Baron Legacy and knocking on the door of their first ever victory in the OPL as an organization. They've existed for 5 years. They've been in the playoffs a ridiculous amount of times. Not to mention the finals showings that they've been in as well. Direwolves, they're coming in for the Baron. Can they stop this? Legacy are turning.
That they are. Vital combining with Chippies to try and take out Isles right now. He's not got that Tempered Fate up just yet. He does have that flash. He's holding on for as long as possible right now. Magical Journey used, and he just goes into the damage that a Cho'Gath presents on the table for you. I was holding on for as long as possible. Chippy's regenning. He's on the flank. He's sitting on walls. He's squaring up for that magical moment once again.
He was considering maybe ulting them away, looking for an opportunity. If he pushes them out of the pit, yes, it's possible. Direwolves are going to concede the Baron. They know full well that their opponents are on Ocean Soul Point. So they're going to take that objective away for themselves instead. It'll buy more time on the map. It's going to be just the Baron to empower Legacy. But that's more than enough. One team fight victory, and Legacy can win the entire game.
A win harder condition has been removed, but their win condition in mid lane is already open and ready for the taking. Baron buff is there. And with bot lane pushing as well, they are presented a great opportunity now to play the macro. No teleports available, but regardless, 22-7, the gold lead that they have, surely they have what it takes for one team fight here.
Medjai's Soul Stealer going to be the itemization of choice for Tally. Of course, building towards the death cap. He could sell that at any time, but he's got 10 stacks on it. So for now, you keep it. Very cost-efficient item to sell, actually. I believe it's like $10.50 to purchase and $9.80 to sell, so it's actually a fantastic item to just build for those of you at home. It is not a troll choice anymore. Legacy with this Baron buff are going to threaten the top lane turret here. This one should be uncontested. It's the next one that you're looking at Direwolves to stand and protect.
Yeah, they tried to set up a trap there from the rotation through mid to bot. Legacy have plans of their own though. They went topsides. They don't lose much as a result of this one. They can still get to this turret in time for the defense. They need to execute flawlessly here.
It's so hard not having a pure AD carry to be farming this one. Yasuo obviously does get a lot of value from farming himself, but no range champion. All of this is on Shock. Just remember that if he does hit the Shockwave, if Legacy overexert themselves or pressure too hard forwards, then the possibility is there that the Wombo connects. But they're not going to do that. Why would they do that? When they can send a Vladimir to bot lane, and he can just win the game by himself.
And who can respond to Vladimir right now? It doesn't look like anybody can. Direwolves want to force this fight. They one-man Shockwave, one-man ulti, one-man go all in on Tally, but he just pops the Zhonya's and negates everything. The fight continues regardless. Vital has done his job by removing Raze. That is a shutdown. That could be important, but Tapoon is spreading blood.
They've done it.
And they have wiped these members. Chippies is the last sole survivor, but they're going to teleport into this base. Starter meets success. Consistency is rewarded. 4 finals, 4 times the runner-up. They've never won this trophy. They've tried so many times, but this is their occasion. And they will be your Split 1 2020 OPL champions.
We're going to see the reactions here from Legacy as the Nexus dies as well, Skibby. Big moment for the boys. Isles in his rookie split as well. Fantastic showing from the players, but amazingly, the reactions are calm and collected. Oh, except for that.
Oh, there goes the confetti. That's a different tune.
It's Carbon.
Big Carbon. What else did you expect? That man has to be so stoked. So many times he as a player tried to win this trophy. Wasn't a possibility, but Tally comes back, a veteran of the OPL. That one trophy had always eluded him, and on his return, he is able to assist his team in getting the first one for this organization.
Massive performance here from all of Legacy as well. They win and lose as a team more than anything else. You know, Toppin may have been a carry in this game, but he puts in the work as a team.
Let's go. Legacy on 3. 1, 2, 3! Woo!
Well, there you have it. Pure elation here. They were the strongest team. They proved to everyone they were the strongest team. They were taking down teams left, right, and center. Strong, consistent, and overall, that consistency is rewarded. No dip in form, no problems for them. And they are able to dismantle the hype train, the reverse sweep, power buff, playoff performance that Direwolves had really put on and provided to us to get to this grand final situation.
Yeah, takes a team with class to be able to stop the Direwolves' momentum. They've already proven that they could deal with the best, and they brought back the series in that third game, but Legacy stands strong, and they say that we are the best team, and a very deserving victory for them in the finals today.
Well, that is a fantastic opportunity for them, and I'm sure the boys on the analyst couch are just as elated. Let's welcome back Nick and the crew, and let's bring them into the fold of things to sort of break down and celebrate that victory.
I mean, I feel like we are 100% more elated and excited than the Legacy players were, but no one is more excited than Carbon was. I mean, that entire celebration was a one-man show there, Juves.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't do it as a player, so he put the team together to do it instead. So he must be happy. I'm happy for him. He's one of my good mates in the Oceanic circuit. So, you know, it was well deserved. It's been a long time coming for him, and it definitely means a lot to him. You know, it's not always been easy, and I know what's gone into getting to this point for him. So I'm just happy for him, happy for the organization, and yeah.
Spawn, we will talk about Legacy as a team in a minute. I mean this with love. Do you feel like Carbon can die now? Like that he has fulfilled his purpose? I just feel like he wanted this for so long. It eluded him for so long. And this has been so much work that now finally he can let go and take his eternal rest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, shout out to like everything Carbon has honestly done, because we'll get to the victory in a second, but if you just look at the people that have been here since day one that have actually put Oceanic League of Legends like somewhere. He had one of the first best interviews overseas. He was one of the people that gave us like the cheeky Bants reputation. He housed Egypt for a long time. He's helped me out in the past, and he runs a really great organization connected to the Adelaide Football Club. And we haven't mentioned that yet, but the Adelaide Football Club acquisition of Legacy Esports was the biggest news story in Oceanic League of Oceanic Esports bar none. That acquisition was huge, and it set the stage for so much of what was going to come. And I think that this would be ultimate vindication for him, because Legacy in the past has been like a farmhouse. They are really good at identifying talent, but they've had a tough time securing them for the years that they're actually going to be championship contenders. Yep. Cupcake was there. They had people like Loss. They had people like Tally. Mimic was there. He went on to win a title with the Bombers, right?
King was there.
All these. Yeah, King was there. Claire was there. All these players that have gone on to become really, really great players actually started a lot of their careers at Legacy. And I think this time around, he's been able to put in the good work to attract that star talent back. He still had a mixture of rookies in there. And they were, honestly, the best team in the OPL. Top to bottom, their teamwork looked the best. Behind the scene, I think they were probably the best coached as well. And that's coming from someone that obviously was a coach of a team. Looking at what Denian did with the guys around health and wellness and what Denian has done himself across the journey at Legacy, honestly, you can have nothing but respect for a team like that, and nothing but respect for someone like Carbon, because he's the guy that puts it all together.
Now just a quick one on the players. There's one person who I don't think we spoke enough of, and I just after watching the game the last game, I want to give a special mention to Isles.
Yeah.
Isles on the Bard in the last game there specifically was just a real monster. He landed countless ultimates on the Oriana, and sure, Bard on targets without mobility should land ultimates, right? But you also got to take into account, if you're versing good players, they can kind of juke you out on the on your Bard ult. He just landed countless clutch Bard ults. He was constantly pressuring mid. He had a really good lane, and I think it was a very good series from him, and arguably the best series I've seen from him all year.
Yeah, I mean, he coming in as a rookie, super sweet kid as well, just very unassuming, clearly wanted to learn everything that he could, and being able to come up on a team stacked with so much talent, and not just talent, but I was going to say legacy talent, but old school talent. These are veterans of the OPL, and being able to hold his own on that team, absolutely incredible. We spoke about it before as well. Bringing back Tally mid-split as well is something that has really turned that team around. But sorry, Spawn, you were going to say something on Isles?
I was just going to say he's also from the southeast suburbs of Melbourne, so honestly, a kid can do no wrong.
There you go. Yeah, I mean,
Western suburbs historically has better players, but we'll leave it at that.
Okay, no one gives a shit about Melbourne. Let's talk about what this means. I mean, you mentioned for people like Carbon, but what does this mean for the players? What does it mean to be on this kind of winning team, to start off 2020 Juves with this kind of win?
Well, you like to look at it as a very big momentum boost, confidence, whatever you want to call it, for Split 2, right? Split 2, I think every player's dream is to play at Worlds. I think that's fair to say. Mm-hmm. You've now got, Topoon and Babip who have done back-to-back titles. So this is for them, they were on Mammoth last year, they've been to Worlds already, and now they've got the MSI title, they've got this title under their belt. And I think it's just, for the whole roster, it's a very good, it's a very good stamp of approval, and to know that they can do it again next split.
I mean, it's the process works, right? We always talk about trust the process, but people don't blindly trust. You trust the process when it starts to have good results. Mm-hmm. And I think that this would have been a tough split because, as I said, they're not playing glamorous League of Legends. They're not playing that MVP style League of Legends. That's probably why Rays didn't win MVP, because Chiefs do play an MVP style League of Legends, if we're being completely honest, right? And I think that this is ultimate vindication, that individual accolades don't mean anything. I've said it before, but people don't just look at talent within OS and then get picked up for overseas. They talk to people like Juves because he's got, good ins with people in North America. They talk to people like me. They talk to people like Papa Smithy. And being a good teammate and being that team player and what Chippies did in Game 3, for example, stood out to me more than anything. This is the first time in a best of 5. I've seen Chippy say, you know what, my team doesn't need me to carry. My team needs me to play utility. I'm going to pick utility. And to me, that shows someone that is quote unquote, more import ready than what he was at the start of this best of 5. And I think that Legacy have got 5 of those players. You know,
Yeah.
when Quinn's on something like an Aphelios, he'll carry, but he played Ezreal this game, and he's willing to play like Ashe and Varus. He even played a Syndra game. You know, Tally's the exact same, played the Victor in the middle, would have been able to play like Aatrox, Gangplank mid lane, but he also plays Galio Cho'Gath. You know, Jihoon we've already talked about. He's played everything from Soraka to Gangplank to Mages up there in the top lane as well. Like, they just play everything everywhere, and they're willing to fit any role, and I think that that is like proof that that kind of League of Legends is winning League of Legends.
Topoon's another player that I'm especially,
He's the
excited.
best player in the league.
Yeah, especially I'm happy, I'm excited. I genuinely really like the guy. You know, he had a bit of a rough go last year. He didn't play too much. Fudge was obviously the priority top laner. Now Fudge is playing for Cloud9, so, well done to him. But for me, this was Topoon's split or year where it was not necessarily redemption, but where he could prove himself to be one of the best players in the league, not just best top laners. And I think without a doubt, Topoon was by far the best top laner in the league, right? There's no question about, because he could play tanks, he could play carries, his champion pool was deep, and he played a role for his team. And so
that's why he's the best player.
Yeah.
Because of all the things you just, like, there are better carries than Topoon. There are better support players than Topoon. But is there a player that can do everything that he does? Like, he is meta resilient. He plays everything. He can play strong side. He can play weak side. He does it with jungle assistance. He does it without jungle assistance. He team fights. He split pushes. Like, as far as the complete package goes, like, he is like the 8 or 9 across the whole board. He does not have a weakness. He is so, like, let me just tell you, as an opposing coach, he is impossible to prepare for. He's actually one of the biggest headaches that Legacy had. There is no point banning a top laner against the Legacy lineup. The only time you started banning Ornn versus Legacy was when Tally showed he can play at mid. Otherwise, it wasn't even worth banning Ornn against the team, to be perfectly honest.
And so we've spoken a lot about Legacy. Let's not forget their opponents, Direwolves, who did such a good job getting here. Obviously, they couldn't take out the grand final, but Spawn, there's a lot there for them to be proud of, a lot there for them to build on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when Direwolves announced their lineup super early in the offseason, everyone was really excited about it. And I think that at points in this split, they have been the best team in the OPL. And that gauntlet is really hard to run. So, like, hats off to them. Nothing but respect. I think the new format is maybe even more challenging than the old format because you fall from, like, upper to lower bracket, have to battle your way back in. And that's really, really tough. So, nothing but nice things to say about the team. I think that there was some stuff going on, which obviously I don't want to dive into too much, but they would have thought that on a different day, they could have, like, got some things rolling in this grand final and made a fair crack of it. But I think, second place in the OPL is very, very difficult to do. And I think that this will only make them hungrier for Split 2, especially guys like Chippies, guys like Shock. They would have tasted it today.
I also think that there's a lot to be proud of for this Direwolves team. I think that the individual performances, and not only individual performances, but as Spawn touched on, the team performances from specific players that we've seen. We saw them, it's not often you see a team grow in the space of a playoff because it's such a small period of time. It's a small window. But we saw a lot of those Direwolves members mature and grow as players, and I think that's what's important, right? This sucks. It's a bad feeling. It's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. But I think there's a lot of positive takeaways for them as a team, right? They have versatile bot lane where they can play 2 support players if they need to. Vital for me was like really just mechanically really insane in a lot of these team fights, even though there was gold deficits. Shock for me was the biggest standout, as in he stepped up the most. It's what I've been wanting to see from him. And you got Chippies who showed now he can play tanks. So this Direwolf roster, it's going to suck. They're going to be sad for a few days, but I can definitely see them bouncing back for Split 2.
Well, I hope they do bounce back. Someone who doesn't need to bounce back too much is Tally. He is one of your 2020 Split 1 OPL Grand Final winners. We've got him on the line right now. Tally, the room behind you is a testament to your success. You're going to have to clean up sometime like you cleaned up the Direwolves. How does it feel to win Split 1?
Oh, I don't know. I'm ecstatic. It's actually been so long. I think it's been like what, 7 years? I've come second like 5 times. I don't know. It's just such like a big build up. Even though like it doesn't feel as good as winning on land because there's no like emotional build up because we're just at home. So
Yep. Well, I feel like Tim provided the emotional, at least the emotional release there at the end.
I think June jumped out of his pants.
I mean, obviously you came back mid-split. I feel like Legacy kicked it up a gear when you did. There was a real sense that the team had another fundamental piece that they could build around. But the decision for you to come back would have been a difficult one if you weren't guaranteed this kind of, well, not even guaranteed, but like promised this kind of success to win after coming back from retirement. How does that feel?
Well, I mean, like me coming in and the fact that Legacy looked better, I think it was due to the fact that I was able to, like, my champion pool and my playstyle was able to unlock like a top Boon and Raze, and I think they're both like exceptional carry players by themselves. And then also like Leo was freed up as a jungle player to play more aggressive and play carries and stuff like that. So like there was cohesion in the team instead of like just having 3 carries on the map. So like me coming in and playing in this kind of playstyle, I think was unable to lock Legacy really well.
What is the future? What does the future hold for you? Are you sticking with Legacy? I mean, surely if I was you, I would just demand pay rises, some sort of like luxury trailer for when you have to come back to the studio. What's happening with you?
Maybe I should do the whole circuit. I should go on another role and try win on that one. But then let's get all 5 under the belt.
That'd be great. Well, we'd certainly hope that you do stick around. A wonderful player, a wonderful personality. Enjoy the night, enjoy the win. We're all sorry that we can't be there celebrating with you. But once again, I feel like you've got enough celebrations in store over the next 12 hours to be able to keep you properly occupied. Congratulations on the win tally.
Thank you very much.
And what a great story for him, Spawn. Obviously, you have a lot of affection for Jimmy, but he to come back to win in this way, and like he said, to not only be a successful player in a team, but to feel like you have contributed to the unlocking of success in other players must be a really joyous thing.
It shows the growth of James as a person. Like in previous years, when Legacy had played gauntlets or finals, he played Graves top lane, Master Yi top lane, like carry Echo top lane. Like he was not, like Jules will back me up, like he was not known for being this flexible player when he was a kid. Like he had one style and he used to run over teams with that style. But he's a different dude now. I obviously promised him a championship in 2018. I might get a little bit emotional during this, but like we had a really rough year 2018, and like James was like really integral to like keeping that team together at all. And then like going in 2019, like was a superstar in my opinion, and I'm so happy for him to get his title. Like I could not like I couldn't be happier for Tally to actually be able to pick that one up.
I know how attached you are to the boys from Order, whatever the iteration of that team, but I hope you're not too choked up because you have Raze on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. So going to be joined by the perfect player in Queenie K. Raze, congratulations on joining an elite few that have won titles with multiple teams. How do you feel?
Obviously, I'm pretty happy after not having won for ages. It's a bummer about MSI, but a win's a win, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And talk to me about your team, because Tally was just really complimentary of like you and Topoon especially, how you guys are these great carry players. What did adding Tally to the team do, and how was playing on Legacy this season for you?
As soon as we added Tally to the team, it was a slow... Because Jensen's coaching style is very systematic. As soon as we added Tally, it was much easier to like just put that into the team, and it was way easier to improve as soon as we added him. And I think like the split honestly came down to coach cap. Our knowledge of macro past 10 minutes was just like infinitely better than every other team, and I think that's mainly what it came down to in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you'll be shocked to hear, but I actually called the exact same thing. I said Jensen coach capped pretty much the whole split. Coming from a coach, I think he was really insane. So what was it like under Jensen? Because he's a strict dude, but he seems like a real pleasure to work with.
Yeah, he just basically gives us like a systematic playstyle, so it's really easy to make macro calls as long as we like everyone recalls together. You make a plan. It's really easy to follow and simple, and it always catches teams off guard. Like we can easily tell the mistakes they make because he points it out to us very easily in review. So just makes the game so much easier to play compared to other years I've played.
And now I want to focus on your journey, because I called you the Chiefs franchise player when you were picked up from the Direwolves. You joined the legendary lineup, right? You actually took the role of Radier for, the guy that the MVP award is named after. But this really feels like, your team. You feel like one of the leaders of it. I know you're super vocal. How have you enjoyed that growth, and what is it like to now be a leader on a championship team, not just like the new 80 carry, like joining a legendary lineup?
To be honest, last year I was along with DOS. Like we were both two leaders on that team, so I've already been in the role of a leader. But this year, like I definitely took more of a leadership role. I'd say it's still the same. Like Leo took a leadership role out of game. I did too. I was mainly more of a leader in game. So I've already like experienced that once, so it's not any different compared to last year, in my opinion.
And this is the second time you've brought a rookie support in
Yep.
and absolutely carried bottom lane with him. Isles in that last game, in game 4, maybe played the most legendary Bard performance like Osa's seen. What did you think about playing with Isles, and how was that game 4 for you?
Obviously Isles is really good Bard. Like I don't know why the champ seems so OP, but his pick potential is just insane. I don't know. Hopefully, maybe people will realize it's actually a good champ, but like obviously it became super high priority in that series. So yeah, Jonah played really well in his first finals ever.
Well, thank you very much for the chat, Quinn.
Thank you.
Congratulations again. Hope you have a really good night celebrating. We'll throw it back over to Nick Boy.
See ya.
I mean, the clear highlight of that clip was Tim walking by in sandals, I believe, carrying a piece of cake. But you've got Raze there. The guy is no nonsense. I mean, he is just about league 24/7, and it's great to see that kind of win for him, Juves.
Yeah, I mean, he's a veteran in the scene. Like you said, it's been a long time since he's won. And so to do it in a roster where he's playing a leadership role, it's great to see. You know, I've played against him, I competed against him, and he's cold-blooded when you play against him. So it's good to see him win.
Gives you hope for the OPL as well, because I can't stress this enough, but he was like kind of that first rookie player that joined like a legendary team, and now is like that captain. He's bringing up guys like Isles, right? So I just think it's so insane that like his journey is like my favorite story in Oceanic League of Legends, to be honest. I'm a huge fan of Quinn.
We're a huge fan of Quinn here as well. We're also a huge fan of Babip. Juves, I believe you've got him.
Yes. G'day, Babip. How are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. So this is your second title in a row now. Congratulations.
Yep.
How does it feel to be, gone away from Legacy, back to Legacy, where it all started for you, and finally winning the title for old mate Carbon as well as yourself?
Yeah, as you saw at the end of when we were celebrating, like I gave Tim a big hug, and I mean at the start when we were signing players, like I pretty much promised him the split. So yeah, it feels really good to go through with that and give him the trophy.
Now talk to us about like the growth for you this year, because I think for me, I've seen you go from, a bit of a role player because you played on some really stacked lineups. This lineup's very good in its own right, but you also, I feel like you were a lot more enabled in this roster. You even ripped out things like the Nidalee, and it feels like you played more of a high pressure, high octane play style, if you will. So how did your role differ, and how did you enjoy this year or this split?
I think with James's champion pool, I feel like it opened up a lot of carry potential for me. So when we play stuff like Cho'Gath and Ornn, like that just allows me to pick like the Nidalee and the Kindred and stuff like that. So I definitely would say that James coming in was a big like enabler for me to pick those carries. So yeah, I would say, I mean, everyone on this team has carry potential from what you from the finals, and just wasn't. Yeah, everyone's enabled on this team, it feels like, so everyone can carry.
And now, I know we've touched on Jensen being the coach and, very systematic, and he sets a lot of structure for the team. But what's it like having two coaches, and how's that dynamic, and how do you think that set you guys up for this success, right? Because I don't know if many of them know, but you have Jensen, but you have Denyon as well. And so do you get like a role-specific coaching, or how does that dynamic work?
Splitting up having two coaches means that basically the time is... So you basically have two people that can do double the amount of work, right? So when we're going through our day-to-day like things with Jensen, like Danyon's working on our briefs, which is why we had a lot of like, especially in the best of ones, we had a lot of like cheeses, we had a lot of like information, and I don't know, their time being split up just means that we just have like a lot more planning, I guess.
Yeah.
So it just it's good.
Now tell me, what is on the agenda? What's going on tonight? Is it A-Rams? Is it TFT with the boys? What's the party looking like in the Legacy household?
Well, the pizzas have just come in, so it'll be the pizzas. Probably just be TFT with the boys. I mean, I'm a big TFT player now. I got pretty addicted during this split, so I can finally indulge in my addictions. Yeah, probably just Discording with friends, eating pizza with the team. That's about it. ARAMs maybe.
Very nice.
Maybe some.
Very nice. Well, congratulations again. Well deserved. I hope you guys have a good night. Celebrate lots. We're going to throw it back to Nick Boy and Jake.
Thank you.
Pizza and TFT, they're living it up over there at the Legacy House.
That's an absolute party. Well, we got to remember it is quarantine time, so it's not like you could have expected them to say, yeah, we're going to get out on the town, we're going to go out and do the, so, quarantine.
I mean that genuinely. I'm 34 years old. I don't want to go out anywhere. Like, I want to stay home and just play video games. Yeah.
That's a confidence pizza, though.
Sorry?
Like, a pizza doesn't get there in 10 minutes.
That's true.
Like, they ordered that, at some point in Game 4.
Yeah. As soon as Isles landed that Bard ulti on midwave, they're just like, Tim whips out his phone. Yeah, mate, we'll have 5 of those large capsicums and pineapples on the pizzas, mate. Yeah, yes, I'm in my sandals, so we'll be right.
I don't know why he'll be riding his sandals, but it's true. That's exactly what he would have said. I mean, this Babip and Raze to me are two people where I just feel like I see them winning more and more in the future. It's surprising that Raze has not won nearly as much as he has. Babip obviously more used to these high pressure scenarios, high win scenarios. Someone who isn't, but it is their first grand final win in their first real split. We've got Isles. Congratulations, mate. How are you feeling right now?
I'm pretty happy. I think that, I don't know, I'm just really proud of my teammates. That's pretty much all I have to say, I suppose.
What did you, obviously coming in as a rookie to a team just absolutely stacked with talent, what have you learnt from these guys? What have you learnt from Legacy as an organization?
I think this was a pretty massive experience for me. I think this is pretty much, I got everything all at once because I was fortunate enough to, as you said, get on a roster that's really stacked, that has a lot of veterans, a lot of talent. But as well as that, we've also received 2 coaches, which is a really insane experience. And it's my first time living away from home, and I'm just being bombarded with information on information. And I think that my teammates did a really good job of allowing me to get through this whole experience. And I just think the staff, just everyone involved, have been really helpful in allowing me to take in all this information. And I think from the start of the split to now, I think I've learned a ton, and I think it shows.
I think it absolutely shows. Something else that shows the proficiency, the blistering performance on Bard. Obviously, Rusty, a huge fan of the Bard pick. Ejim, huge fan of the Bard pick. We've got OPL legends who are associated with Bard. You now have tied yourself to that champion in a grand final performance. This could be a defining champ for you moving forward. You looked comfortable on the pick. How did it play for you?
I don't know. I think some of my teammates have already touched on it, but for the most part, I just think the champ's really underrated. And if you asked me at the start of the split whether I could play the champ, I would have said no. Remember those times in scrims where I was asked if Bard was good, and I would say no, or I wouldn't be comfortable on it. And I think I think it is really sleeper, and I think I've gotten a lot better at it. And yeah, I think it really enabled our team today.
Do you think you'll follow the Rusty path and get yourself a Bard tattoo?
Not sure.
I think you could usurp him as a Bard superfan. Well, congratulations, Isles. Congratulations on winning your rookie split. It's not something that you see very often, but it's something that's very well deserved for you. Enjoy the rest of the night and enjoy your time off between splits, mate.
Thanks so much.
I'll tell you what, now that they've won, Legacy can afford a couple of phone books for that kid to sit on. Because he has to be the smallest one in the OPL. But God bless him, he is a delight. And I remember playing... did we play ARAMs with him, or did we go Summoner's Rift? Maybe it was TFT, actually. I think it was TFT. Was it ARAM? No, it was ARAM. I went through all 3 modes that we play in the MPL. But absolutely love that kid. He's a real delight.
Yeah, for those that don't know as well, Jonah picks himself up, gets on a plane, goes over to Korea, boot camps himself with Chippies and Ronan over the off season, like gets some really good experience over there, makes himself super attractive to someone like Quinn to pick him up, and I think like he's just so hungry. Like he doesn't show it there. Like people would be like, "Wow, he's a real chilled out dude," but he's actually such a hungry player. And
Totally.
I think he's like going to be an out and out superstar. And it's really hard to be that good from the support role.
And like you said, he's hungry, and he mentioned in the chat that this is the first time he's living away from home. Like he uprooted a lot of his life to get where he is now. There's a lot of hard work that's gone into this at such a young age. I mean, the kid has a very bright future of league play in front of him. Someone who not only has a bright future but a bright past and is having a very bright day today is Jensen. And Jake, you've got him on the line.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm joined by Jensen Go, of course, the coach of Legacy. Jensen, you come over to the OPL, you coach gap everyone, you pick up the win. That much feel pretty good.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, I think I'm very blessed to have such a experienced roster and such a large champion pool that I can work with. When we first picked up Tally, people were saying that, oh, he might not be able to play certain champions. But then what I pointed out and what we realized is that he doesn't have a small champion pool. He just has a different champion pool. And I think it's very useful to enable the style of League of Legends that I like to coach.
And talk to me about Tally specifically. And I guess I also want to throw in kind of Babip and Raze, because that's like your leadership group, right? These are your experienced players. How did you find the addition to Tally to that leadership group? And how did those guys work together under you and Denian?
Well, I think Tally was brought in very late on, so he was not very core the leadership structure towards it, but he was a very positive environment, right? He's somebody who brings a lot of positive vibes, a lot of positive feelings towards the team. He's the resident memer, always bringing the the Twitch chat emotes into practice and stuff. Whereas for Leo and Quinn, which is Race and Babbitt, they were the ones who reached out to me initially and got me interested in this offer to come to Oceania to coach in the first place. And I think that both of them have been very instrumental. I think Leo was somebody who cares a lot for the team, and he has a very strong quality as an out of game captain, and even in game as well as a jungler for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And now talk to me about your assistant coach, Jenny. And he was obviously the head coach last year, would have taken a sidestep into this role. How did you find working with him? And what are your thoughts on kind of the Oceanic natural talent here?
So for Denon, I'll start with Denon. I think Denon is somebody who came in here, and I've been it's a training process as well. So he's somebody who I'm just sharing all this knowledge with and these methods, so all the systems and structures with. But Denon has got one thing that even I don't have, and that he has a very powerful personal transformation story. So if you looked at him last year and you look at him now, there's a lot of difference in the amount of Denon that you see, and I think that that's very very strong story. And if you look at coaching, people only think about like does the draft and stuff like that. Denon is actually really insane when it comes to handling performance matters out of the game, how to manage sleep, how to manage eating and stuff like that. In fact, once when I tried to like touch that a little bit, it messed up a performance against the Chiefs game. So he is somebody who's very well informed and very adept at handling the out of game aspects of like those like sleep schedules, cooking for the team to make sure that the meals are nutritious and healthy. We shift to a 5 game block system this year around. So being able to sustain that levels of intensity for training over a 5 hour period and to get ready for best of fives is something that he also did. So he's been like cooking and preparing meals that removes like sugar and carbs so that the players are able to maintain the energy curve throughout the entire scrim block.
That's super interesting. And obviously, this is your first time within the OPL. We had our big exodus. People said this was supposed to be the year that the talent had left. Obviously, you now win the season with some very talented guys from the Oceanic Pro League. What has been your insight into the OPL, and have you enjoyed your time over here?
I definitely have. I mean, getting to work with these players. In fact, when I first came to Oceania, I had some friends in Singapore telling me that they're huge fans of Raze and huge fans of Leo, which was something that caught me off guard as somebody who usually has to work in the playing regions and has kind of like follows these teams to a certain degree. So I think that like I came over here, I saw the talent, got to work with Tupun, got to work with Raze, even like working with Jonah as a developing rookie talent. It's overrated when people say, "Oh, they're exporting all this talent and the region is doomed and stuff like that." There's always going to be hungry talent if you've got the right coaches to develop them. Those hungry talent, if they put in the time, they have the systematic ways of learning the game, they will rise to the challenge.
And I think that you and Jimmy are the two people that potentially could explore options over this offseason. What's next for you, Jensen? What's on the radar?
So Well, it's kind of a downer because we just won the split. There's no MSI, and I've only signed with Legacy for one split, so I will actually be headed home to Singapore, and then I'll be exploring options from there.
Well, I hope you do come back, mate. Honestly, it's taught me a lot being able to coach against you, and I just want to congratulate you again on the victory because it was certainly really well deserved. And if we're going to head back over to Nick and Juice, obviously, Jensen Go, successful import coach. It's very rare that people import coaches into the region, and I think that he has done like a huge service in being able to level up his players and I guess the overall talent here in Oceania.
Absolutely, and he's so eloquent talking about
he's a
his
shoutcaster, mate.
And stuff. Yeah, I mean, look, we're all eloquent, aren't we, Juves?
I am the most eloquent when it comes to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have, obviously, I hope that his legacy lives on not only in this team, but in the other teams that have played against, as Jake mentioned, playing against teams like Legacy elevates everyone's game. So congratulations, Jensen. Congratulations to all of Legacy on an absolutely phenomenal performance and a really fun evening. It looks like Direwolves could have been taking it back, but they were not strong enough. Legacy taking out Split 1 Grand Final, 3 games to 1, and very well deserved. A massive thank you as well to this broadcast team. The rookie that we don't talk about enough, Skimmy, who is not with us right now, because of course he has been fed into the play-by-play.
Probably never see him again, to be honest.
But a real pleasure to be able to work with Skimmy over this split. Obviously, we saw him a couple of times last split, but he's a delight to be around. He's a wonderful dude, great shoutcaster, and learning League of Legends at such a clip that puts the rest of us to shame. So, Skimmy, thank you very much for joining us as a rookie on the OPL Talent broadcast team. It's been a delight. Obviously, Rusty as well, more of an old hand, but someone who it's always wonderful to have around. That perfect blend of someone who doesn't take things too seriously, but absolutely freaks the F out about his internet connection every week. The smoke alarms going off, the weird builders who wander into his room at 2 a.m. in the morning. I mean, he puts up with a lot. The man is nothing but a professional. So thank you very much, Rusty, for everything that you have done over the course of this split. Juves, thank you for your time here over the last couple of weeks. It's been a delight. I hope you've had fun.
Yeah, I've had fun. I've had a lot of fun.
It certainly doesn't sound like.
Listen. I'll be honest. I wasn't expecting to have to say something. I was waiting because you gave them some nice sentences, right? I was waiting for you to be like, "Well, Juves, thank you so much for coming on. Honestly, you're one of a kind. You're one of the best personalities on this show. Like, I don't know what we're gonna do once you're not here, but..." And then you kind of threw to me, and I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I was expecting nicer words from you, but sure, it is what it is. Whatever.
So, I mean, I was giving you, since the other guys couldn't respond, I was like, well, Juice can introduce himself, because this is the moment where he can really sell himself as becoming a permanent fixture on the OPL broadcast. And what happens? I throw to you, and you absolutely shit the bed when it comes to talking, which is literally the only role an OPL broadcast host needs to fulfill. So well done, Juice. It was fun having you on the broadcast. We are obviously never going to see you again after that. Spawn, I don't know who you are without the beard, but I certainly did enjoy the 8 weeks when you did have it. How are you feeling? What's your takeaway from this split?
This split has been super fun. I mean, I think myself, Juves, and Carbon went out really heavy-handed when all these guys got picked up to go overseas. And we said, Oceania will survive. We will put on an entertaining show. And there is enough depth and talent here to be able to get us through a really great split one. And honestly, I think 4 teams could have won it in the end. I think Legacy all the way down to Order, who obviously finished 4th, were good enough to be able to take out this split. Now, obviously, Legacy proved that they were a clip above. That is 20 players, however, that are really, really good at League of Legends. And I think that the talent we have here, the broadcast we put on, the fact that we have you, Nick Boy, and such a great production team. Like, I mean, we're one of the first regions that was able to get this thing online with a lot of technical hassle. But, like, shout out to those guys as well. Like, I mean, there's a reason I'm still here. I love Oceanic Esports, right? And I think this has been such a fun split to be a part of. And, you know, I think I said it this morning, like, this is my 12th OPL final. Everyone gets better than the last. And I'm so happy for Legacy as an organization. I'm still happy for a good friend in Tally picking up a title. And I just want to say a big congratulations to Legacy for being able to close that one out.
Absolutely. And you mentioned it. It bears repeating. The production team who put this on, you see a lot in Twitch chat whenever there's a microphone muted, and sometimes it's my fault that someone says OS production. You cannot comprehend the logistical nightmare that was taking this show and putting it online. And it's not interesting to talk about this stuff, but I'm going to do it anyway. And so well done to all the producers, to the editors, to the audio crew, to just all the hard workers who have come on board and taken 16 to 25 people, depending on the day, scattered around the country, and to be able to pull us all together and give us a show every weekend over the last few weeks has just been an absolute delight. It's such a fun broadcast to be a part of, and none of it would be possible without you guys. So thank you very much to the production team and to Riot. That's going to take us out. There are a few more people that we need to thank, because that was all the people that contributed on air. Obviously, you guys for watching. Thank you very much for sticking with us throughout the split, enjoying the league action as it happens, putting up with the weird shenanigans that we give you, encouraging those weird shenanigans most of the time. We absolutely love putting this show on for you. You're the reason that we do it. So thank you very much for being OPL fans, for supporting Australian League of Legends and Australian esports. We can't wait to see you guys for next split. A massive thank you as well to our playoff partner, NeoSurf, for coming on board, obviously giving away a stack of prizes to you guys, which was super generous of them, and a really great partner for these playoffs and grand final. NeoSurf, thank you very much. And obviously Maccas, who've been with us for the whole split. Fantastic partner, great support, and we just the split wouldn't have been possible without you. So thank you very much for everything that you do and you've given to us. So thank you very much, guys. All right, that's going to close it out for split 1 of the OPL in 2020. Congratulations, Legacy. Better luck next time, Direwolves, but you did a hell of a job getting here. We can't wait to see you guys for split 2. Until then, we're out.
強く強く輝いて消えた